Blonde
Yeah,
mustache.
which he said was a bad choice, I think.
Wow.
Why doesn't he just shave it?
laugh.
Yeah, he doesn't have to keep
That's
it.
a terrible question,
It's a
Sam.
mustache. It's not like it's a full head of hair. It'll take like what, a week to get it back?
Yeah.
I'm open.
I'm
open.
Open.
I'm open. Welcome to the I'm Open podcast with Sam, Ryan, Joe, and Andrew of
Yes.
Ringer the Ultimate, of at Ringer the Ulti, of ringerthe.com. It's AUDL division previews weeks because we're doing it over 2 weeks because there's a lot of divisions. And because the AUDL season is about to start and we have to preview it or else we won't know what's going on. Today, we are talking about the AUDL South, which is the smallest division in the league. And it has the youngest team in the league. And possibly one of the worst teams in the league. We'll see.
That's a
I'm
Bold
in suspense, and I'm going to continue watching this episode.
Yeah. But before you do, make sure you click subscribe so that we will feel good about devoting so much time to this.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that is finally the truest statement.
They'll let us out of our cages if we get enough subscribers.
Yeah, B Ultimate said they'd let our family go.
Yeah. Go to our shop,
which is
I don't know,
in the
bio
bio.
shirt.
In the bio. Get one of these hats. They look sick.
Or one of these shirts, or one of those sweatshirts. Or Andrew, what do you have?
I got nothing. I'm wearing an Egyptian soccer jersey.
We don't have that.
We don't sell those. We don't sell those. Anyway, on to the matter at hand. AUDL South. We've got the Flyers, we've got the Soul, we've got the Hustle, we've got the Legion, and we've got the Houston Havoc. Let's get into it.
It's an itty bitty little division.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, first we're going to start off with the 2022 standings, which of course the Houston Havoc were not part of. But we have to take a moment to say goodbye to our beloved Tampa Bay Cannons.
R.I.P.
Don't know what to say other than the league should have given us that Mechanics Cannon showdown that we so desired.
Yeah.
Shout out to what's the dude's name who put together this supercut of their only win? It was like the highlights from the Legion Cannons game. Yeah, that was some of the best content to come out of the league last year. So truly a huge loss for the whole league.
Tannen Hedges is currently at neutral because he also broke Josh Lane's nose.
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah, that was him.
I forgive him. Maybe Josh doesn't, but
logo quality just shot up, made the league average shoot up 10% because there's no more clip art anymore.
I'm gonna say it. The logo's grown. The Havoc logo has grown to me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like now that I've seen the jerseys, I get it.
I like it. I still don't love the shade of yellow, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I don't dislike it as much as initially.
I like the blue a lot.
Yeah, I'm with that. Anyway, the Flyers kind of ran away with this division last year. They were kind of obviously two dookie teams, and then it was just a 3-horse race, and the Soul did beat the Flyers once.
Yeah,
that's their one loss, right? And then Hustle had, I think, 4 shots at the Flyers, and that's why they have 4 losses.
Didn't they
Maybe they lost from the
Austin
Soul.
also.
Yeah, maybe.
Did they
I
play
think
Chicago?
they might have split with the Soul. The
Didn't
Soul
they,
played
like-
Chicago.
I think you're right. Soul played Chicago.
Who blew like that 6-point lead in the fourth quarter?
Hustle.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Hustle.
Yeah,
But then they
that's what I thought.
won that game. Or no, yeah, they blew that. Sorry, they blew that to the Soul, and then they almost lost to
Yeah.
Dallas on that same trip, but then won.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
And that gave Austin the playoff spot.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of just the Flyers division, and then these two kind of duking it out. But we'll see if we think it'll continue to be that way. Let's start off with the Flyers.
Nasty.
Yeah, where to begin? They have a
Nasty.
couple like noticeable departures. Henry
They get some
Fisher.
retirees, right?
Yeah. But then of course they added Joe White, they added LSB, Matt Tucker,
Yeah.
and Ben Snell. So they should be fine. And also their team is stacked anyway, so who cares? They
It's gonna
added
be
a
really good.
They added a second last name escaping me. Madaraju.
Yeah.
But probably the most notable thing on this entire little slide is these two key games against the DC Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
To start the season too.
That's crazy.
Yeah. First game of the year at Carolina. I'm so ready for the Breeze to win both.
We've discussed this before, right? But that's definitely the hardest out of division matchup that like any of the South teams have, right? And they just gave them to the Flyers, which I guess seems like the most fair. Like it, it kind of suck if like it was like, oh, the Soul have to play the Breeze twice, and it'd be like, all right, well, this could make things really interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if the idea was like seeing how the division played out last year. They're just like, all right, let's give a real test to the Flyers and then sort of let the Soul and Hustle have that leg up and then kind of make it a 3-horse kind of race.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question. Who does it hurt more, the Breeze or the Flyers, if they just split the series 1-1? Like, which team suffers the most by dropping one of those games?
It's got to be the Breeze. The Breeze need to win every game they possibly can and hope that they beat the Empire or the Empire drop to Summit maybe. Whereas I think Carolina could lose a game to the Breeze, drop a game to the Soul, and Flyers could lose both games to the Breeze and one to the Soul. They probably still win the division like pretty easily.
Yeah.
Joe, do you think if the Breeze lose their games to the Empire and to Carolina, there's a chance they don't make the playoffs?
I don't think they drop both. I don't think there's any way the Breeze drop both games to the Flyers.
Let's just say theoretically.
I mean, it's possible. This is like the best odds of 4 losses we've seen for like a really good team, you know?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. I think Carolina also plays the Phoenix maybe or something like that. Or the Phoenix have Phoenix. Yeah. So I 4 losses right there to the best teams that you play. Not great. You probably have to win like all the rest of your games to feel comfortable about that. If they only lose like one game outside of that, they make the playoffs still, but that's probably a little bit worrisome. Yeah.
I also feel like if you think you can win it all, and you can't drop all 4. Like if you drop off 4,
definitely
like,
you're not ready.
Gonna win it.
Yeah, all. Yeah. Would you have won the championship in the first place? Probably not.
No, definitely not.
But not to get too into the East Division, we have plenty of time for that. But that was just looking at the schedule. It's something I was wondering.
No, yeah, definitely. That's a good question.
Alex Davis, breakout year last year, coming back, definitely going to be a huge factor.
He's got a blonde mustache now.
Blonde mustache.
Yeah, which he said was a bad choice, I think.
Wow.
Why doesn't he just shave it?
Yeah, he doesn't have to keep it.
That's a terrible question, Sam.
It's a mustache. It's not like it's a full head of hair. It'll take like what, a week to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this team's gonna be. This team's
We're
gonna be
gonna
gross.
Asking the hard hitting questions.
They're gonna be good. They're gonna have mustaches, and they're gonna play the Breeze twice. What else could you ask for?
They're gonna have 2 Matarajus. They'll be fine.
And they're gonna have Joe White. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah,
And Liam Searles Bowes. Like what?
I know.
Yeah, that's
I
up
know,
there with
Joe
the Grant
White had-
Lindsley on Utah, like Joe White going to Carolina. It's like, all right,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. No, I know. It's a huge addition, and also like Fairfax, Davis, and White out there is just like threat on threat. Obviously, Joe White can throw the disc too. They just have like a plethora of players who can throw the disc already.
Yeah. Losing Henry Fisher is kind of huge, literally. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if Joe White's there, you have to wonder how many games Joe White is going to play, since that's got to be another travel player. But I don't know.
Speaking of games, did you guys see the Instagram comment on Joe White's announcement?
No.
To paint the picture, Carolina like posted like welcome Joe White to the team, and then Joe Cubit from the Mechanics commented saying like he won't play 4 games, or like he won't play more than 4 games. And then Joe White commented saying that's 4 more wins than you'll have.
Damn, true.
Damn.
Yeah, but honestly doesn't matter, because like if he plays the Breeze games and then plays like a soul game and a hustle game and the playoffs, like what else do you need, really?
Yeah, I think there's not much to say about this team. We all expect them to win the division. Like,
yeah,
they'll be fine
as long as he can build chemistry with them. Maybe that turns them into a actual threat at championship weekend. Because last year they had to play the Empire. So, although that's another thing to consider, because they kind of got boned into being like the 4 at championship weekend. So they probably are going to want to try to be like second or third, so they can play, the Central winner or the West winner instead.
I don't know if anyone's gonna try to manipulate the seedings like that. Like they're gonna go out and they're gonna try to win every game.
Yeah, and also like if you want to win the whole thing, you're gonna have to go through the Empire. Like,
yeah, you have to beat the Empire to win everything.
That's true, but I don't know. If I'm looking at like the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay, we could not play the Empire if we go this way, I would maybe consider that.
Yeah, but also in this situation, not playing the Empire just means winning more games. It just means not being 4th. It just means getting better.
So yeah, all I'm really saying there is like maybe they need more from Joe White. Maybe they need to secure that kind of 0 or 1 loss record to feel comfortable. I don't know.
Yeah.
It does kind of benefit them that the Summit play the Empire in the regular season, so one of them is going to lose that. Yeah. But I don't know. These Breeze games are going to decide a lot, like very early in the year.
Yeah, those are going to be crazy. Coming up soon too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 weeks from Saturday.
Damn. All right, moving on. We got second place finisher last year, the Austin Soul, who added Tyler Reinhardt from, I believe, Dallas, and Shane Worthington from Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
The subtractions on the power rankings were just Ethan Pollock and Paul Starkel. But I know from texting Vinay that he's moving to New York, so I think he's also not playing, presumably. He was their 3rd leading goal scorer. And then for key games, that at Hustle game, the 2 Flyers games, the Growlers visit, and then every single other one of their games is against Dallas or Houston.
Wow. That's wild.
Wow.
They could win the division.
They only have one game against the Hustle.
Yep.
That's
The
really
winner
weird.
of like the first. Is it their first game or is it their second game? Do you know?
I'll look it up right now.
Regardless, they're gonna play each other like within the first 2 weeks of the season, and that game might decide the playoff spot.
That's crazy.
They could beat the Hustle and then just have the division and lose to the Flyers twice, and then just have those two losses.
Yeah, if the Flyers drop those two freeze games, like they're in trouble because the Soul could. If the Soul take a Flyers game again, yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So
Maybe
yeah,
buying
it's week
Soul stock is where it's at.
Soul
week
has
3 is that Hustle
schedule,
game.
right?
Ryan, you got me thinking now. Like, do the Breeze have like a ridiculously tough schedule?
When you compare the Breeze to the Soul, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, if you did an advanced power ranking, the numbers would be astronomical.
I know. You switch out Hustle and Growlers for Empire and also the Empire. And then you just have the rest of your normal games after that. Like you play the Phoenix and you play like, well, I guess like I don't know, Montreal, Toronto.
Yeah,
who knows if
there's
they'll
a
be
huge
good.
difference between
Boston.
Phoenix and the Legion.
Yeah, like the Legion and Houston, we're talking about potentially 2 of the 3 worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we'll get to it, but the Legion didn't do much this offseason, and then Houston is just a gigantic question mark.
Yeah, I'm excited for our East preview because like, damn, some of these teams are gonna have like such hard schedules.
Mm-hmm.
The Flyers are gonna so the Phoenix are gonna have to play DC twice, Empire twice, and Carolina once.
Yeah, they might be fucked.
Yeah, I've got 2 thoughts. One thing is we were told this at the party at layout in the Airbnb of a few of these players. And I remember maybe there were some substances flying around. I don't know for sure, but they were telling us like Boston Soul's gonna win the South, blah, 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 like back in like January. I remember that very clearly. But they had a great point. Like,
yeah.
And the other thing I'm noticing is there any team in the league other than the Soul where last year their top 3 assists they had a tie for first for their assists?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's night and day. That's night and day from like the Summit where like Nethercut had all their assists. This is like they have a system and people, they're not relying on one person. So like if Radak's hurt, it's fine. Hinky's gonna pick up the slack. Like Mark Evans is gonna come in. Like it's just that's I think where the assists are dispersed tells you a lot about how a team works. And that's really interesting to me. So like, yeah, they have an easy schedule, but like they're definitely a good team.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I think Radak did miss a couple, 2 or 3 games last year too.
Right.
And I just listened to the most recent Swing Pass, and they did preseason MVP picks. I don't remember which one of them it was, but Henke was shortlisted. So
yeah,
I like that.
He's nasty.
He's so
I don't know. Soul rising.
Yeah, I mean, legit, it would not be wild at all for them to finish with 1 loss. Like last year, they split with the Flyers. So you do that. You take this game from the Hustle. You beat the Growlers, who are we are thinking are going to be worse, and they're traveling halfway across the country. And then you win games against these 2 teams that one you had no trouble with last year, and the other people aren't expecting too much based on our Instagram comments. So it's like feasible. It might even be favored that they have 1 loss.
What are we gonna do in our tier list if the Flyers lose 1 game? They go 1-1 against the Soul, and they go 1-1 against the Breeze, and Carolina has 2 losses, and the Soul have 1 loss. What are we gonna do?
I'm putting Carolina above the Soul.
We'll see. That's the power of the tier list. We're not beholden to wins and losses, but
yeah, you're right.
We'll have to see who looks who looks the part.
True. All right.
I love the chaos.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I'm very excited.
This season's going to be great.
This is sick.
All right. Well, flip side of the Austin Soul having a relative cakewalk of a schedule, we have the Atlanta Hustle schedule, which isn't crazy, but they do see the Empire. They do have to go to Boston, and then they have way more Flyers games. I have 2 here, but I think they have 4 again against the Flyers.
What?
Possibly.
Oh my God. 4 games against the Flyers and the Empire that's 5 games against just the Flyers and the Empire. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think what I texted you when I was putting this together was if they only lost to the Flyers and Empire and the Soul only beat Dallas and Houston, the Soul would be ahead of them.
That's crazy.
Holy shit.
So they're in trouble.
Steve, what are you doing to your own team? Why did you give yourself this schedule, Steve?
Yeah, if they can't hang on with the Flyers, then they're in trouble this year.
Wow.
They also, I didn't include this, but they have the Alley Cats visiting. They were able to handle them last year, but just worth noting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Why do we have this like consistent Alley Cats Hustle crossover?
I don't know.
It's interesting.
But yeah, confirmed 4 Flyers games, a Soul and Alley Cats game, an Empire game, and then they have 4 against the Dallas-Houston combo. So, 4 given wins. No offense. And then a couple in the air, and then a couple very tough games. Majority very tough games. So that's tough. Yeah. But
Billy O'Brien, leading scorer for the Cannons.
So yeah, Billy O'Brien. They got Billy O'Brien. They also got Tannen Hedges from the Cannons. They and Mike Kobira from the Empire. But then they lost Khalif, who, I mean, big name loss, but didn't really do much for them. And then Elijah, John Stubbs, and Kelvin Williams also departed. Yeah, obviously, Elijah Jaime is a big loss.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's probably still going to be a really good team. They just have, like, an unfortunate schedule, seems like.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that the guy who led them in blocks is only 5'10". Like, it's pretty wild.
I know. Yeah, if you crazy. I have 2 yardsticks here, which show that he's just a little shy of 6 feet.
Yeah, I mean, Brett sent us a picture on Instagram where he was holding up a measurement tape, and he barely eclipsed 5'9". So we got it straight from the source.
Proof. Yeah,
5'10" is generous, but
insert photo here.
Brett Holzmeyer, 18 blocks for someone who's 5'10". That's super impressive. I think he'll have another huge season. And yeah, like I'm excited about this team. I think they'll be good. Like they were good last year, and then they added sort of the top guys from the Cannons. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the schedule is stacked against them, and really it comes down to if they can't compete with the Flyers, then they're done for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this team is like bang or bust. Like either they're one of the best teams in the country and they can hold their own against the Empire, maybe beat the Flyers once or twice, and they're the best team in the division, or they're like just right there and their schedule just doesn't allow them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, even if they are like split with the Flyers good, they're still probably going to finish below the Soul. So.
Yeah,
like they might have to finish above the Flyers to make the playoffs even.
Well, yeah.
I really feel like this May 12th game against the Soul is going to determine who might take a playoff position there. Yeah, losing Elijah Jaime is big. He had double the amount of goals of their next leading scorer. I don't know. Like, do they have? Is Matt Smith and Austin Taylor going to be enough of a receiving core for them? Like, I don't know. Probably they're a good team. Losing one player isn't going to be like detrimental to their team because they're already solid. But I don't know. I wonder, like, are they going to be a deep threat this year, or are they going to be like just a team that is a little more dinky dumpy?
Yeah.
Tough schedule.
Nice huck percentage though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like they're pretty conservative. Like they're the zone team. They're the value the disc kind of team.
Only giving up under 18 points per game too. Pretty good.
All right, let's get into the meat of this episode with the Dallas Legion, who have an even worse roster panel than the Growlers. They are losing 10 players of note.
Oh my god!
Who were, mind you, of note to a 1-11 team. So
maybe that means they'll get better.
Maybe. I don't fucking know. Like, I think Houston coming into the league was a huge part of this. Like, a couple of these names are going to show up in Houston next year. But yeah, they didn't add much after losing a lot of notable players. And like, I don't know, college frisbee wise, obviously UT Austin is the best team, and they're going to kind of feed into Austin. So I don't know where the players are coming from for Dallas.
Yeah, I think that someone who's poised to have a big year for Dallas is Brooks Wallace. He had 7 assists, 7 goals, and 5 blocks last year. He played more O-line than D-line, but a good amount of both. And I think especially with all of these roster subtractions, he is poised to become a bigger part of this team. And is it going to be enough? Yes. No, definitely not. But you watch out for Brooks Wallace. I played with his brother in college.
There we go. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like we kind of did this with the West, but these two teams are kind of together where it's like the question is which of them or I guess the question is one of them going to kind of be the bottom dog, or are they both going to kind of share that? Because last year, I mean, Dallas and Tampa Bay were both 1-11. Do we think one will be worse, or do we think it's going to be a similar thing, or do we think one of these teams will be good?
I mean, Houston's a complete wild card for me. Like, but then looking at this, it's like, how are you losing that many notable players and winning more games? That's insane to me.
Winning more games.
The only team that they beat folded, so that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So do we know how many times do they play the Havoc?
I can pull it up.
Because I think if we're talking about, if you're replacing the Cannons with the Havoc, like, that's probably their only winnable games too. They had one game against the Soul where I had a huge money line bet on the Soul, and like the Legion looked like they were gonna 4. So they could win more games. I mean, that's a lot of games against the Havoc. I mean, last year the Legion only played the Cannons twice. So
yeah.
Maybe the schedule makers were like, all right, these teams, like, we got to have a for sure bottom dog. So we need to have multiple games so one team can go like 4.
Yeah. Do you guys think they'll split those and have two win teams, and then suddenly the South looks like kind of respectable because they don't have any 1-win teams? Or, I mean, conversely, are they going to have a 4-win team, which makes that look respectable, and then a 0-win team, which everyone just kind of tosses that away?
If Havoc goes 0-4, do they fold right away? Or 0-11 or whatever it is?
Well, good question. Good.
No.
I don't think they.
I think if people come to the games, that's more important than what the record is.
For sure.
I also think that, like, we don't know a lot about the Havoc, but I think we can kind of make a safe assumption that they'll probably be around what the Legion are. I think they're pulling from a similar talent pool, and they play each other 4 times, and compared to the rest of the league, maybe they're not great, but compared to each other, like maybe it's pretty even, and maybe they kind of split those games, so maybe or maybe they just have a handshake agreement before the season, like, hey, let's get 2 wins this year.
Let's get 2 wins. Yeah,
let's double
so
our wins.
So I think we're just entirely beyond the question of will either of these teams win a game against somebody else, right? We're just saying how will it break down between them?
Yeah, that's kind of what matters, because I don't know if can I come out and say like the Dallas are gonna beat any of the other teams? That said,
no,
they were close against the Hustle last year, so
they were.
Yeah, but they got
so much
it's
worse. Just like 3
they lost
teams
10 players.
It's 3 teams that all deserve playoff spots, and then 2 teams that, like, even if you combined them, they wouldn't deserve a playoff spot, probably.
Yeah.
That's harsh, but true.
Harsh, but true. Yeah, what? Give the South 3 spots. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's 3
given
teams
at
that
large, give an at-large wild card spot, it just generally.
But you know what happens though? Like what happens
potential.
is you give the team a spot, and then what? They play each other, and then the winner of that plays Carolina, and
that's fair.
I don't know. I guess that'd be cool.
I mean, maybe with like an expanded, like if championship weekend was 8 teams, that might be. I would be more into giving all these teams a spot, I guess. But since it's like, who's gonna win the division? Like, if you pit Atlanta and Austin before playing Carolina, then Carolina's gonna win probably, because they didn't have to, face elimination. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love,
and then, like, if there's a third
for the wild cards too, also. Like, seed to the East and the South.
Yeah, what if they did 6 at championship weekend? They did like 2 wild cards plus division winners. I don't know.
But then wouldn't somebody have to get like a double bye for that to be possible?
Well, you could do overall division winners in, and then play.
Oh, and then just division winners automatically into championship weekend.
Yeah. And then I don't know. We can work up a proposal on our own time, but
my thing is that if, like, I don't think it's perfect right now, but if they add a third playoff team in the South the way it is right now, the regular season means absolutely nothing.
That's super true.
Means virtually nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think they have enough players to play if they only got 4 players.
Yeah, all I could find was these 4 players. I don't think they've dropped their roster yet. So they have a coach though. And Kamish told us they have good facilities. That's worth something. But
look at Matt Bennett's biceps.
Anyway, that guy's jacked. They've got this Growlers game, which that'll be fun. Maybe they'll win the Growlers game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I should try to go to one of these games.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe they're just the best team in the division and they win all their games.
We don't know.
That happened with the Summit. So we'll see.
Yeah. The Summit can do it.
And then Houston really Clutch is going to win Club Nationals the same year.
Is Jake Worthington Shane's brother?
Yes. Lots of brothers floating around in this league. But anyway, should we get into the main event? Hot or not, according to the @Ringer the Ulti Spook-ometer.
Make it the AT&T bars. That's my take.
The AT&T bars?
Like hot, and then honestly the last 2 just
just don't even exist. Okay, well, yeah.
That, I mean, we can discuss further. Sorry, that was just like my first impression of looking at.
Well, why don't we start over here? We'll get some blue going. Tell me when.
I think
When
I think there's some okay, I have an argument here. I think there's an argument for a slightly more Havoc spook than Dallas, just because we don't know.
I
Just
agree.
better the
I
devil
agree.
you know than the devil
okay,
you don't.
yeah, I like
Like
100%.
that or more? You talking more?
A little more.
Yeah, maybe a touch more, just so we can clearly see that we intentionally made more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
there you go.
All right.
Or do we just leave the Legion empty?
No, you gotta give them
There's
0.
something in that little bulb.
Considering that Detroit exists, we'll give Dallas a little bump up to like 4 out of 100.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas might be spookier than Pittsburgh. I don't know, but we'll have to see later.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's switch back to red. Let's get into the other teams. Should we do Austin and Atlanta together? Which
Sure.
I get are how much are we factoring in like their schedules into this? Because like at face value,
it's just
these
the
are
team.
2 good teams, but yeah, in terms of like how much damage they're gonna do this season, like schedule comes into play. I don't know.
I just think the team in a vacuum.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
sure.
That's
so
how I
too.
interpret it. And
Let's do
I
it.
see Atlanta as like, 70. Is 70
That's
too
way
high, too low?
I was thinking like 15 or
high.
20.
I was thinking
20?
way higher than that, but I was
don't think
not
they're gonna
thinking
make the playoffs.
70.
Everest had Summit at 80.
Yeah.
So I would say Hustle at like 60 is what I was envisioning.
Big
Okay, we're doing
team? You're
team in a
so
vacuum.
low
We're
on
doing
them, Ryan.
team-
There's
Yeah,
doing team
we're
in
talking about
in a-
Summit, who we think is gonna easily win the division and go all the way, and Hustle's not even gonna make the playoffs.
But we're not talking about.
We're not talking about playoffs. We're not talking about anything. Just in a
We're
vacuum.
doing team in a vacuum. If you put the Hustle in the West, they might make the playoffs.
They're a good team.
I guess I was thinking about like I'm spooky. Like, am I scared of them as a team? Like, I'm not really. Yeah,
I guess I'm not that spooked. I mean, maybe 70 is too high.
Like,
I
I'm
think
not really
70 is
spooked
too.
to them.
I think 70 is
like,
too high, but I think 15 to 20 is too low.
That's way too low.
Okay, that's fine.
That's disrespect. Like look where the Havoc are at like 10. Like
10,
I
yeah.
would go at like 5.
No,
okay, 5, sure.
Each thing
but
is
if Havoc are at 5, then
Havoc
why
are
would
at
you
10. Legion are at 5.
Wait, each thing
It
is
goes up
2?
to 100. Each thing is.
Each big dash is 10.
Yeah, big dash is 10. It goes to 100.
Big dash is 10. So Havoc are at 10. Okay.
If Havoc are at 10, we cannot put Atlanta at 15. But let's go like I don't know, 50. Can we say 50? I'm a little
at least
that's
50.
To me feels low.
If a team, if the Breeze were playing the Hustle, I would not be like auto win.
Yeah,
which
I'm a little
feels like you
spooked.
got to be higher than like 40 at least.
Yeah, I think I have them at 60. I think like yeah, I think like in against an elite team, like against the Empire. Like obviously no one's gonna beat the Empire, but they're gonna prepare for that game,
Yeah. That's a game that's worth watching.
I could agree to 60. I mean, but honestly, that was Everest Spook-ometer, and I would have put the Hustle higher than an 80. I would have had the Summit higher.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, we clearly said that was Everest's Spook-ometer, but this is our Spook-ometer.
So we're on ours now. Yeah. New
we don't
scale.
need to think of it like that. We had no input in that other scale.
Yeah.
So having the Summit at 80 has no bearing on
okay
what we
with
put
a 60, a 55 to 60 for the Hustle.
Okay. That's where I am on that.
Okay.
I think they're a good team.
All right, we'll put it right there.
Maybe they won't make the playoffs. Like they probably won't, I guess. Like they could, and they're a good team.
All right. So like 75.
Yeah.
Like, what if the Hustle beat Austin week 2? Hustle might just make the playoffs because of that.
Like that could have happened. Is the thing. I think these teams should be close.
Be huge.
I see these as like Hustle 65, Austin 70 kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's too like reliant on last year, but I don't know.
I still think that the Soul have just like I think their better players are better. Like, I think Radak and Henke are both really good. I think Swiatek is really good. I think the Soul are probably a solid team, and it sucks that they're going to have like 4 quality-ish games. They're not going to show how good they are because they're going to have, 8, maybe more because of the Growlers. If the Growlers are bad, they're going to have 9 like potentially not great games. And we're not really going to know how good the Soul are.
Mm-hmm. Put them at 70, and I'm cool with that.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So Flyers are ejaculating off the page.
No, I have them at like 97.
Yeah.
Like they're really good.
If I'm thinking like Empire at like 100, Breeze probably also at 100, I would have them like 90, 95, something like that.
Yeah.
Like clearly the best in this division, but
I think they're scary as shit. I think they have a really good team.
I would not want to play them, but
incredibly hard to defend.
At the same time, like I think it's reasonable to think they would drop 1 of 4 to the Hustle or 1 of 2 to the Soul, possibly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Whereas Empire, I'm like they're only maybe losing to the Breeze, and then Breeze only maybe losing to the Flyers or Empire.
I think I would not be surprised if Carolina goes 6-0 against the Soul and the Hustle. I just also wouldn't be that surprised if they won.
Yeah, same.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I think I would be more surprised if the Empire lost a game than
I mean, we all have them at least above 95, and if you're above 95, you're scary as shit. Like, and this team is scary.
What are we doing arguing over?
We're arguing over like 1 or 2 points. It's like like nobody here wants to play Carolina.
We're trying to get this perfect.
If you want to, you can like draw it higher and then erase it, and then it'll be an even line.
Why would I want that?
That's what you did for the other ones.
Well, that was only when I went too far and we had to go back. But this is like, that's what I'm feeling, a slanted
I got you.
Bumpy line right around 95.
Cool.
Looks great.
That's a good spook-ometer.
All right, we did it.
It's 2 divisions.
That is your Ringer the Ulti spook-ometer. We've got Carolina at about 95, Austin about 70, Atlanta at 55, and Dallas at 5, and Houston at 10. Mostly because of mystery factor. I'm open.
I'm open.
Stay tuned for our other division, whatever previews.
Yeah,
and
coming soon.
And subscribe and